Hello everyone, welcome back to another Warhammer battle. This is going to be a 2v2. Me and Surreal recorded a few of them, so I'm going to have a few of those coming out in the next couple days. So we're going to be the Wood Elves versus the Empire and Wood Elves. So we're going to be playing the same race in all the ones that we just recently recorded. So for this one, we have a army of trees. Basically, we have the treekin, we have two ancient treemen on the flanks, and then led by the ancient treemen, who I don't think I've ever actually taken before, but Surreal opted to take the caster ancient treeman, and that's going to be his army. The rest of it is over here with 4 wild riders. I should say that these next couple of replays will be increased funds up to 15k, so that's a couple extra thousand for us to play with. For my army, I'm going to bring the elf contingent of the Wood Elves. So we have the Eternal Guard, a couple Wildwood Rangers in the middle, more Eternal Guard. We have a Spell Singer of Life, 4 Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts, pretty basic. And then I took in total of 4 of Great Eagles here, 3 normal ones, and then a Glade Lord on a Great Eagle. And then I too have 2 Wild Rangers in the forest right here. For the enemy army, you can see the Empire here. They have 4 crossbows. This is a small elite army here. 4 crossbows, fully upgraded, I believe. Then we have 2 swordsmen, 2 halberdiers, a witch hunter, a jade wizard, Karl Franz on a horse. We have 2 Empire knights also upgraded, and then a steam tank over here in the forest. Then the Wood Elf army has 2 wild riders. They have, I think, 5 Glade Guard mixed in this formation. We have 3 Wildwood Rangers, I think. 3 Wild Rangers? Two Wild Rangers, then 3 War Dancers. That's what it is. And then we also have 2 Eternal Guard here and here, and then a Glade Lord on a Dragon, and then a Way Stalker. I think I mentioned there are 2 Wild Riders in the force. So that's going to be the army. Seeing the enemy split up like this, we decided to hit the left target first to get the crossbow elite small army out of here first, and then we were going to do basically this, and then also create a smaller line like this to fend off the other enemy army that's probably going to be coming through the forest. And I believe that's what they're going to be doing. Getting my wild riders out here because I want them over here on the flanks, because I know that the crossbowmen are going to be either moved in the back, or the swordsmen and the halberdiers will be moved to the front. So in either case, the crossbows will be in the back, so I'm going to try and hit them with the wild riders. I was going to try and snipe the steam tank with all of my Great Eagles here. They're not armor piercing, but they do a lot of damage, so I've never actually taken a bunch of Great Eagles against Steam Tank, and I was curious how they would do. But the thing is, it got in range of these crossbows, and I was like, I'm not going to risk our Great Eagles with a bunch of fully upgraded crossbowmen. That doesn't seem like a good idea. But anyway, the Steam Tank is now going to start firing on, I believe, the Ancient Tree Man. Or maybe it's just Treekin. I think my Glade Guard are going to move behind like this to meet up with my Wild Riders going up like this. And again, the enemy army is now starting to come through the forest, so we kind of need to get into position here quickly. Surreal opted to take the front here because we saw that, you know, all the crossbowmen here, but the thing is, the trees have very high armor, so they can withstand a lot of punishment even though they're not shielded. There's going to be a healing spell being dropped here on the Treekin. You can see the enemy's going to move their Empire Knights out here to meet up with our Wild Riders, and I think they're actually going to catch this Wild Rider because I was marking something else at the time. I think it was marking these. Yeah, we were marking these to get into this Empire Knight, and at the last moment I'm trying to pull back because I don't want to get a full charge from the Empire Knights. So Surreal's going to throw in his Ancient Treeman, I'm going to throw in our Eternal Guard, and then we're going to wrap around and do a counter charge here. And then the Treekin are just going to march forward basically into the enemy army. I'm going to be posting up a couple of Eternal Guard here, and like here I think. And you can see the enemy's Wild Riders coming over here, so they got then also pull like these Wildwood Rangers, and I basically just have this kind of weird line like this to try and protect my archers. I'm going to get my Wild Rider over there as well. And with the all the Great Eagles, the Ancient Treemen, the Spearmen, we're going to just totally destroy this Empire Knight, and now we're going to move on to the crossbows. Initially, I'm going to have all 4 of my Eagles attacking this one crossbow, but then I'm going to separate them and attack this one, and these 2 up here, and then move one over here. I want to make sure these guys are not firing because that's obviously where a lot of the damage from the enemy army is. And you can see the Wild Riders are trying to get to my Glade Guard, but I'm going to cut them off with all of my infantry here. And I was going to try and catch them. I was hoping they were going to try and make for this little gap here, and then we would have caught them with these Wild Riders, but they did not, so they're going to pull back. So I'm going to, I believe, readjust our lines and put more people over here to fend off this army. And meanwhile, this army also is not doing a hard engage. They're just kind of letting their archers pick off on this one shielded Eternal Guard, and they're kind of slow to the reaction here. You're watching their ally here kind of getting crushed by the trees and the elves. I mean, that's what's happening here. Just did a heal spell, I believe, on one of my Eagles. I think that's why my Spell Singer took a lot of damage there. And you can see I have my Eagles spread out amongst all these crossbows, keeping them from firing. I'm not too worried about the Steam Tank at this point. Right now, we have Treekin on Karl Franz. And the thing is, like, this Empire player, they didn't have much in the way of melee, so there's just so many trees for them to fight. So many eagles. Our Wild Riders, I think, are chasing off Empire Knights. Crossbowmen are now shooting into Karl Franz to try and bring him down. I think I'm going to get our Great Eagles to take out, the Jade Wizard here. At least our Glade Lord will. And again, this player just doesn't really want to leave the woods. My bad, I forgot about this. Surreal pulled out his 4 Wild Riders. 2 are now into the enemy's Glade guard, and the other 2 are into the enemy Wild Riders here. Forgot to show that too. And for some reason, I think Surreal just must got a really good charge, because these are the same units, not upgraded in any case, but he's kind of doing more damage to them than they are to him. And then this pocket of just Glade Guard just kind of got wiped out by those Wild Riders. And again, we kind of have forces over here waiting for their charge, but the charge is never going to come. So we're just kind of slowly dismantling the Empire player with a 2v1, basically. We only have a very small amount of force kind of just deterring the enemy Wood Elf player here, who is now, I think, finally going to start to move out of the forest. And so that means I'm going to now switch our main focus over towards them, because the Empire player, you can see, is kind of taken out. We have our Great Eagle squad and our Wildwood Rangers on Karl Franz trying to take him down. He is now going to rout. And now we're just getting our melee forces like this. We have our Glade Guard here. Took a lot of damage from, I forget what that spell's called, but holy crap, Awakening of the Wood. It's a lot of damage to these Glade Guard. Yeah, you can see at this point the Empire player has kind of just suffered a lot of damage. They have a couple Imperial Knights, but they're not going to be enough to really do much to my forces over there. I still have a Wild Rider back here destroying some more crossbows. And then our Great Eagle crew is going to go in here and help the rest of the treemen finish off the forces over here. You can see some Eternal Guard chasing the Glade Guard across crossbows over there. Meanwhile, Surreal's Wild Riders are still in the back, just kind of terrorizing the archers. The enemy's Wild Riders are basically destroyed, and so now we're going to meet up with the enemy's War Dancers and Wildwood Rangers, while my Glade Guard are pretty much safe back here. I just kind of spread out our forces to be able to respond to whichever way the enemy comes. So you can see we're just totally destroying that Wildwood Ranger there, because they have no shields to cover them from all the arrows. They have no Wild Riders to really threaten us. Their Empire Knights are tied up over here, what's left of them. And now the Great Eagle crew is freed up. And I believe we start charging the Wood Elf player at this point. And you can see Surreal's army is already hard engaged against the Wood Elf army over here. Again, there's not much left of the Empire player. We're just kind of leaving the steam tank on its own, because it never engaged in melee. It never tried to terrorize us. And I think that's a mistake. The thing is, steam tanks, yeah, they have a giant cannon. Yeah, it does a lot of damage, but they also exude terror, which for the Empire is kind of a rare thing. So you kind of want to use that steam tank in melee, even though it doesn't shoot its gun at that point. It'll still shoot its steam gun, but a nice terror charge can destroy an enemy's front line, you know. And I don't know, I would utilize steam tanks probably for terror. But anyway, that's why we kind of left the steam tank alone, because it was just kind of sitting there. I'm like, we'll just take the shots, it's fine. And unfortunately for the Empire player, the Wood Elf player kind of was a little too late in helping them out of a bad situation. But good game to our opponents there. Let's take a look at a kill count. Unfortunately, I can only see mine and then Jaywin right here, who was the Wood Elf player. We have a couple kills on the War Dancers when they finally got in there. Glade Lord got 15 kills. These Wild Riders, again, for some reason, they just got a bad charge off on Surreal's, and they didn't get to do too much. For us, 27 kills on the Glade Lord. My Wild Riders did really well. The Great Eagle crew did really well. And I guess I didn't really have these people. Oh no, one was fighting Karl Franz. I think the other one maybe never saw combat, really. Can't remember. We'll see in the cinematic view. But again, good game to Jaywin and Razhel. Probably Razhel. And then, of course, Surreal. Let's go take a look at the cinematic view. These trees don't care about crossbow bolts. I think this is the first time I'm really seeing an Ancient Treeman Lord on the field. This is the spellcaster of life, and I think he also has one of a unique spell, a pretty big AoE. Although I don't think it's ever cast here. Now, I also should say, the steam tanks, because I know I mentioned the Terra thing. The steam tanks Terra actually against this army is maybe not the best, though, because Tree can army just psychology, but the only thing that actually could be susceptible would be, I guess, our Eternal Guard and our Glade Guard. Because I think Wildwood Rangers are actually immune to psychology as well. So, you know what? I take back the Terra thing. It would have been hard to actually exude Terra in this army, because my Eternal Guard never really did a hard engage against the Empire army. Only the Treekin did, for the most part. Hold on, I just need to double check. Treekin are immune to psychology, right? Yes. As are Ancient Treemen. They exude fear and terror, so yeah, they are too. And then I believe Great Eagles. Oh no, well, Great Eagles aren't. They exude fear, but they are not immune to terror then. Same thing with our Lord, I guess. But then Wildwood Rangers, yeah, immune to psychology, and then Wild Riders are as well, right? Yeah, okay, so, you know, maybe the terror thing, maybe that would have been hard to do. Only a few units were actually susceptible to terror this one. But like, it maybe could have ran into my Great Eagles or something. It's just sitting there. I remember the Empire player was a little, let's say, miffed that their ally was not there to really help them. This is confusing in cinematic mode. They're all green. It was a Wood Elf Civil War. Or maybe just a giant dance party. With a bunch of red juice. That's not blood. Why would that be blood? War dances are pretty fast. Jeez. Maybe that's the armor buff from the Jade Wizard. That's me trying to snipe the Glade Lord because they got in range. I think they actually pulled back before we were able to finish them off. I'm assuming that's a heal spell that Ancient Treeman just threw out. And that's going to be it. So getting a game to our opponents and to Surreal. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. I think there's like 2 or 3 more with me and Surreal doing 2v2s. Take care.